Hey friends! So I'm trying something different with my setup, and I don't know if it's working, but you will deal.
I'm so sorry. I mean, what kind of cancer? Oh wait, that's your hair. I'm sorry. I'm not one to judge here since I look like Sheldon Cooper fucked Ronald McDonald in a lumberyard, but I have the street cred to know what is or is not bad hair. Get this shit fixed.
Imagine your friend is building a house, and they ask you to help, but you've never built a house before.
Then why is he asking me? Hey Sage, come here. I heard you have the upper body strength of Linguini and you think a radiator is a kind of shampoo. You'd be perfect for my car restoration project. What do you say you help me out, buddy?
So it'd probably be a good idea for you to put on some protective gear and listen to the person in charge, otherwise someone's gonna get seriously hurt. It's the exact same idea when it comes to being an ally.
I love how you basically admit you think your supporters are idiots. How's your volunteer retention, by the way? I doubt allies are motivated by pretentious lectures, so I imagine that your views and likes come from bossy people who need validation. But I'm just guessing.
An ally is a person that wants to fight for the equality of a marginalized group that they're not a part of. We need your help building this house, but you probably should listen so you know what to do first.
You do not do what you want! We tell you what to do! We know what is best! We do not want to do the work, you do the work! Hashtag Bambossy!
So here are my 5 tips for being a good ally.
And I counter with my 5 tips on how to be a good leader.
Understand your privilege. Now, a lot of people get hung up on the word privilege, so let me break it down for you nice and easy.
Because remember, you're all idiots.
Privilege does not mean that you are rich, that you've had an easy life, that everything's been handed to you and you've never had to struggle or work hard. All it means is that there are some things in life that you will not experience or ever have to think about just because of who you are. It's kind of like those horses that have those blinders on. They can see just fine. There's just a whole bunch of stuff on the side that they don't even know exists. So for example, there are currently 29 states where you can legally be fired for being gay, and there are 34 states where you can legally be fired for being trans.
A lack of protected class status is not the same thing as a statewide endorsement of discrimination. You could still file lawsuits in those states if you're fired for being gay or trans, because some of the people in there are smart enough to know that's wrong. So quit blowing shit up with your propaganda machine and do your homework. Which is, interestingly enough, one of your tips.
Now, as a straight cis woman, those are things that I don't have to ever think about if I don't want to. I'm not going to be fired because I'm straight, and I'm not going to be fired because I'm cis.
How do you know that? You don't know that.
So it makes sense that before I can fight for the rights of others, I have to understand what rights I have and others don't. That's privilege.
Tip 1. Don't make excuses. If you absolutely need to establish a pecking order, explain why it needs to be that way. Smart people will figure it out, but smart people will also see through any marketing language and excuses for why they need to be put into boxes based on your personal opinions. And honestly, they won't like that. And your lovely privilege argument. Apparently a hobo has privilege over a Wall Street banker who has to worry about his Fortune 50 stock options. But there's the obvious question of why the hobo would want to help the Wall Street banker, even if the Wall Street banker has more experience on how to handle stock options. But this is no time for rational thought. We have to make sure that only the people in the politically incorrect demographics who don't have the right genes need to hear why they're so privileged, because they're blind and they need to be saved. I'm a straight, cis, white, ginger shitlord, and the only way I could be any more politically incorrect is if my name was Hitler Satan and I wore strippers for slippers. Oftentimes, if I approach a subject on gender, people will turn to me and they'll say, "You don't have any credibility and you need to check your privilege." Why? Well, because you're white and male. God forbid you're both of those things at the same time! So it's a really interesting thing how these people can't flip. Just one switch in their heads that make them realize, holy shit, we've just been racist and sexist to somebody, and we accused that person of being racist and sexist. We're fucked up people, aren't we? I will check my privilege the minute you check yours, hun.
Listen and do your homework. It sounds like a no-brainer, but it's not possible for you to learn if you aren't willing to listen. So you gotta know when to zippa the lippa.
Tip 2, practice what you preach.
This isn't Mario Kart. Stay in your lane. Speak up, but not over.
I admit I'm an arrogant prick, but I consider it my moral duty to not let idiots run the planet. And what this diva with the brain tumor doesn't get is tip number 3. Empower your followers. So let's say you're running a group that specializes in the rights of Hispanics, and you're looking at a discrimination issue in, I don't know, Huckledilly, Texas. The Board of Education has for some reason decided that Hispanics need to pay 200% more to attend a softball game in high school. I don't know what the fuck it is. So you end up with a non-Hispanic guy walking in, holding a plan that says, I got your solution right here. Now, you don't think he has experience as a Hispanic in Huckledilly, Texas. Stay in your lane is a good excuse if they're trying to violate an internal process, but that's not what you're talking about here. The question is if he's Hispanic or not. That's where you put this. If his plan works and you can accommodate it within whatever organizational policies you have, what's the problem? You look at the plan and you see it could possibly work. What do you do? If we do what you're suggesting, if you're the leader of this Hispanic group, you would say, I don't really think you understand what it's like in this situation. You need to stay in your lane, and you need to do what we tell you to do because we have more experience just being Hispanic. But meanwhile, if this guy's plan, you look at it, you see that it's talking about what juries you want in the event that this shit goes to court. It looks at what judges are biased. It looks at a plan for how to get corrupt representatives out of elected positions. It's got a plan. Do you let him execute it or not? I would say let him execute it. He doesn't have to be Hispanic to know how the politics works. He doesn't have to be Hispanic to get your results. The only thing that would keep you from letting him help you, because he wants to, is your own insecurities. If you can't get over your own insecurities and you want to make sure that you are in charge the whole way through, even if it means costing the people you're trying to help of an opportunity to get out of a shitty situation, you are not a leader. And don't you dare pretend that you know what people should do as allies.
Realize that you're going to make mistakes and apologize when you do.
Tip number 4, don't always expect an apology. Mistakes are a part of life, and if there's something that's going to happen anyway, I don't understand why you would need an apology for everyone. You only really need an apology if somebody flat out demonstrated negligence and now they need to reconcile the relationship. But there are times when people will faithfully perform a duty, they make a mistake, and they don't repeat it anyway. So long as it's understood they won't repeat it, you don't need an apology. But if you need an apology all the time, that kind of speaks to your insecurity.
Ally is a verb. Saying you're an ally is not enough. You gotta do the work. 1 through 4. 1 through 4.
Tip number 5. Leaders don't define followers. I've served in several leadership positions, from NASA to Christopher Phillips Socrates Cafe to the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society and what I'm doing with Zen Men and the Voice for Men. And you can look at my LinkedIn profile if you really care, but the point is, I know what I'm talking about. Leaders don't have this incessant need to control people all the time. Leaders can allow their followers to become leaders themselves. That's what delegating is about. Let them take charge of something if you know that they can handle taking the helm. Being a leader only means that you are part of a network of mutual trust that aims to achieve a goal in a coordinated, coherent manner. It doesn't mean that you have to just frickin' make everybody a new appendage to your body for the sake of your own selfish purposes. And they don't have to be like you. That's the whole point of diversity, right? You can take people who think differently from you. Fuck, the show Mythbusters. Adam Savage and what was the Walrus guy? They have a relationship where in real life they don't even like each other that much, but they look at things differently, they behave differently. But when they're on set, when they're actually working, they're doing their shit. They're awesome at it because they have complementary perspectives, and that is what makes Mythbusters such a fucking awesome show. You may like your YouTube subscribers and likes now, but eventually there are going to be a lot of people who might want to join you for a volunteer effort, but then leave because they realize that they could work for somebody else in some other team and get more respect. And honestly, respect goes a long way if you're working on a volunteer effort. So, those are my 5 tips to counter your 5, whatever the fuck that was. Please take it, run with it, enjoy it, hope you grow up. I don't expect anything. Have a nice day. Victor Zen out. Hi everyone, this is Sage Gerard, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And if you want to see this channel grow and to get additional perks, please consider contributing to my Patreon. It helps offset the cost of videos and can help me release videos on a more regular schedule. Thank you so much for watching.
You do not do what you want! We tell you what to do! We know what is best! You do what we say because we do not want to do what. You do not do what you want! You do not.
And I counter with my 5 tips. My 5 tips on how to be a good leader. You know, typically when you pause during a TV show, you can find, like, every now and then they'll have a pause face, right? Like, you pause and they have a dumb look in their face. But this doesn't happen often. You kind of have to try to find a pause face. You kind of just play, pause, then you get it. But with this woman, every face she wears is a pause face. Every transition, every moment, she has a pause face on. It's amazing.